Welcome everybody, my name is Mr. Llama, and today I am bringing you a PvZ here on Metalopolis, and it looks like our Protoss player is going to be AFK for the start of this game. How many seconds? That was like 10 seconds at least that he was AFK. Or stuck on the loading screen, one of the two. So already a little bit of a blunder there for him, and it looks like he's sending off an immediate probe already to start. So one out of his first 6 probes is already going out for a scout. It's possible we will be seeing some sort of 2-gate proxy or cannon rush or something like that. I feel like a cannon rush, you would have that pylon down here though with the forge to start. So possibly a 2-gate proxy. That is going to be my guess, but we don't really know. So up here in the top right corner, we do have Peanutphobia. He is our red Zerg, and I'm not sure if I introduced him, but our blue Protoss down in that bottom left corner. So this is going to be cross positions, as Peanutphobia has scouted that it is not the close by air, and unfortunately for Beno, he scouted that close position, but on Metalopolis now in the ladder. You no longer have close positions simply because it was a little bit too unbalanced, and I believe that was because of the Terran versus Zerg matchup. At least I'm a Zerg player, and that is what I always felt was a little bit unfair on this map. But it does look like Peanutphobia is going to be starting out with that spawning pool going at 15, so 15 spawning pool, and then throwing down a hatch there. When that's done, he is opting to not pick out that gas. So some players like to get that early gas, get speed, and then pull off, or go into some sort of roach play. But of course, as a Protoss player, if you do scout that gas, be careful, because it is very possible if they do not pull off at 100 gas that they are going to bring roaches out for some sort of all-in against your fast expand. Unfortunately, though, there wouldn't even be a fast expand because Beno is dropping this gateway right here. He does not feel safe enough, as this is a huge choke on Metalopolis that you have to defend. And Peanut going to be a little bit annoying with this drone, but is he going to lose it? It does not appear so. It looks like he's just going to get his drone out of there in time, and he is throwing down that hatch as the probe was not blocking him. So it does look like he is going to open with a 15 pool, 16 or 17 hatch. I'm not quite sure exactly when that go down. I'd say 16 hatch, something along those lines. And our opponent just opening pretty standard, older metagame, I should say. In the previous style of play, players a lot of times would open like this with this gate cyber and the one gas, of course, which yes is right there. So that gas is a little bit later than I feel like I've seen before. And he is getting a second gas as well, so it looks like we are going to be seeing some sort of tech play coming out of Beno here. It's possible he will be throwing out a Stargate or a Robotics Bay or something like that. Twilight Council into DTs, we are not exactly sure, but 2 gas does mean tech, so we are going to have to watch and see what he does decide to do. He does throw down another gateway in the meantime. Peanutphobia over here does have his Roach Horn going down, and he did start harvesting gas a little bit later there. So possible to see some sort of early aggression out of him, or simply just defending against any sort of 4-gate that he feels might be coming up, as he does have the he did scout only one base, and he does see that there's still no expansion going down. So it is not any 1-gate expand, possibly a 3-gate expand, but that generally does put you a little bit further behind the Zerg there, as it just takes a little bit too long to get your expansion out, and unless you can do some serious damage there with your push, then you will be behind. So a little drone transfer coming over here, and a few units getting out right now, so getting in preparation in case that there is a 4-gate coming. I apologize, but looks like he is just going for a 3-gate, possible 3-gate expand, and he has that double gas, so possibly going to see, yes, a lot of sentries here, which of course is typical when you do have that 3-gate expand, so you can have those force fields in case some sort of roachling all-in does come at you. So meantime, Peanutphobia not taking any extra gases yet, which is I don't know, usually you'll see somebody throwing out a second gas something about this time, and an evolution chamber coming down, so it looks like he will be getting some sort of upgrades in the future, or just getting this evolution chamber defensively. 630, always a pretty good time to actually get an evolution chamber. I can't remember exactly the time that I saw like Sen getting his. I feel like it was a little earlier than that, but You do want to have that evolution chamber down just in case there is some sort of DT or void ray, something like that. You can throw down spore collars and they do build pretty quickly. In the meantime though, Peanutphobia is pushing across the map here with these 6 roaches, and he may be able to pick off a few of these sentries here as Warp Gate is just finishing. There are not many units at all for Beno, so Beno going to be in a little bit of trouble right now. He's going to drop a force field right there, and it's going to go ahead and force field some of the units onto this ramp, but he still is able to pick off these zealots, and a lot of gates have gone down for Beno. It looks like he is at 5 gate right now. Yes, he is. So this is going to be a very aggressive build. And one more warp in here, and he will have enough units to make some sort of push. In the meantime, in the production tab, we do not see any units right now. A lot of larvae, but no units being made for Peanutphobia, so you would like to see a little bit more reaction after scouting that 5 gate, and he knows it was 5 gate because he did see all 5 warp-ins going on at the same time right over here. So not that 3 gate expand that I was speculating, but instead 2 more hidden gates back here for a 5 gate push. And here we go, this push is going to be coming out right about now. Peanutphobia is reacting and does have the links now in production, but he is droning, so he still feels relatively safe despite seeing those units right there being warped in, and despite anything like that happening. In the meantime, a probe is up here to set a forward pylon if necessary. And you really have to commend Peanutphobia on his great creep spread going on right now. This is exactly what you want to do as a Zerg player, because if you can get those units right there on your creep, especially this early, they do not have an observer out to kill those creep tumors. Those units right there, your links can get so much of a quicker surround. And I'm a little confused by what Beno's doing. He seems to be scouting around his base, so he seems to believe that there is some sort of lings or something in back behind his base there, but I don't think I saw anything nearby. So in the meantime, a robotics facility being added on. So we do have a 5 gate robo. This is an extremely resource heavy build. It uses a ton, and he won't actually be able to use the resources out of all of these production facilities right now. So he is a little bit wasteful with this, but possibly just getting that robo facility to try and get an observer out for these creep tumors right here. So we do have a warp in here on the high ground, and Beno looking, he's going to go ahead and deny the surge here. There is a cancel, so smart play right there. These links come in and try and get us around. In the meantime though, so sorry. The sentries over here, they have the Guardian Shield pop, but they are not providing any help for any of their units. They throw some force fields down, not really too effective over there, not trapping many units at all, but Beno's still able to clean this up simply because of the number of stalkers he has. And Peanutphobia, in a little bit of trouble here, reacts by dropping 4 spine crawlers, has 9 roaches coming out right now, 2 more on the way. He has about 7 on the field, and he's going to go ahead and pick off a few of these zealots right here, push out with these roaches and start picking away at stalkers. But will he have enough to defend against this? I am not quite sure. Upgrades are still 0-0 for the Protoss, but the 1 armor on these roaches is going to give the Zerg player a little bit of favor in this battle, and it looks like Peanutphobia possibly going to be able to defend this. It is so close. 3 more roaches do pop, so they will be able to force this back, but there are reinforcement stalkers coming in from our Zerg player. In the meantime though, or from our Protoss player, in the meantime, the spine crawlers do finish, and it looks like Beno is going to back off of this as he just barely does not have enough to deal with it. So he's going to go back, get some reinforcements, and here we go. He's going to push in now that he does have additional stalkers to make some sort of attack. In the meantime, we do have a Hydra Den going down right now for our Zerg players, so if he can get those Hydras out, that DPS on those stalkers will be immense. And our Zerg player Peanutphobia throwing himself into a terrible corner right here. He has the worst concave ever, I would say, and Beno able to just pick away at all of these roaches, so it's going to be extremely difficult for our Zerg player. A few more roaches do pop, and he does have that armor upgrade, so that is definitely helpful against these stalkers here, but the stalkers are still overwhelming. It looks like they're going to be able to push up here and take out a few more of these drones. More roaches are popping pretty soon. Another queen does pop out, but only to be instantly sniped. Not even going to be able to get an inject right here, and a few more roaches do push down this ramp. 3 roaches versus about 8-9 stalkers right there. 5 roaches coming out, but more stalker warpins have come underway, and Peanutphobia is still somehow in this game. But Beno fighting, pushing his way through, so will he get another warp in here? He does have the warp gates ready, so he's going to have to warp in and morph pretty soon. Meantime, though, Hydralisk are out there. One of them goes down instantly as there's not really much to defend for him, but the Hydra's going to go ahead and pick away from this ramp. They are extremely fragile, though, and so it looks like Beno a little bit undecided what he's going to do, and he is stockpiling a lot of minerals. He needs to get another warp in over here to reinforce his army. It looks like he's going to try and pick off this hatch here, picks off the extractor, but this Hydra is just chilling right here. It looks like he's going to go ahead and deal a decent amount of damage, possibly. He's not even attacking, so a little bit confusing, but the natural is going to go down right there. So that is going to be extremely troublesome for Beno, and Beno not microing his units very well right there, taking a little bit of damage from those broodlings. And he does have a warp in, though, of 6 more zealots here. And if he expanded off of this, or if he expands right now, he will be in a very good position. He's still already in a decent position, as his opponent has lost that natural hatchery. And the drone count does favor our Protoss player, the worker count, I should say. And here we go. It does look like we have a little push out right now from Peanutphobia. So trying to do a little bit of damage. He's going to go ahead and kite a couple of these zealots up. But he does lose a few of his units of his own. And Beno, by not warping in here, and there we go, he does take an expansion. Looks like he is going to be sacking this arm right here, and yes, it is going to go down to these Lings and Hydra's ball, or mix right here. So Beno finally getting cleaned up from that battle, and Peanut able to survive there. So well done by Peanut to not completely lose the game right there, and not GG out, and he actually has the army count in his favor, so we will have to see if he does any sort of push with this. In the meantime, the Nexus is completed. I am so sorry, I'm not sure why I said completed at all. Is almost completed, emphasis on the almost there. And it looks like he is throwing down those 2 gas as well. So something that I always like to see is throwing down 2 gas right before that expansion goes down, so you can just hop in those gas immediately as soon as you do a probe transfer. Instead of probe transferring and then building them and then having to come back and then, you know, put 3 in there. Then you have to, it's just a lot of timings that you have to wait for. So if you just throw these 3 down, you can just put 3 in there, do a probe transfer, and that is it. Time one more gateway has gone down for our Protoss player. And it does not look like he has done too much more tech except throwing down this robotics bay. But he has not utilized it at all, has not got that thermal lance upgrade yet, or any units out of his Robo Bay at all, I believe. No, he has not pumped a single unit from that Robo Bay, so he built it. He built that robotics facility, he built that Robo Bay, but has not used it at all. In the meantime, we do have a double expansion coming down from Peanutphobia, so he wants to get back into this game. And I mean, this is a very smart play, because right now Beno is on the back foot a little bit. His army count is probably now it's a little higher, so it's about equal in the army tab there. But of course, the upgrades are in favor of our Zerg player with that 1-1. So, were he to be aggressive, there's a good chance he would lose this army, as it's just not strong enough to really push all the way across the map and deal with the current army plus any future army. But in the meantime, there we go. Colossus are coming out with extended thermal lance, being chronoed out. So Colossus is going to join this army pretty soon, and that will add a lot of strength and a lot of DPS to this army, especially since there is no Spire down right now for our Zerg player. And he does have a lot of Hydras on the field. So, of course, Colossus versus Hydra, Colossus just completely destroy them. So, of course, it depends on positioning and such. But 2 armor upgrades are going down right now, and we'll have to see if our Protoss player is going to get a Forge anytime soon. No, he's throwing down a Twilight Council, though, so still not going to be investing in those upgrades, but he's getting a Twilight Council. It's possible we will see Blink be coming out, or moving into some sort of Templar tech. But we aren't sure. In the meantime, the Colossus charging out a little bit ahead there, taking a little unnecessary damage, and there's an Observer on the field here. And poor Peanutphobia is supply blocked, as he did lose those Overlords, so that is a little bit of a blunder, and he will not be able to create units to reinforce and deal with this army. There's only 1 Colossus, though, right now in this army, so looks like Peanutphobia is going to go ahead and try and attack from behind, and he is going to snipe off that Colossus pretty quickly, so that is a huge hit for him right there. Able to snipe that Colossus before it's able to do too much damage to the Stalkers. And it looks like Beno going to go ahead and push in here, but his army is kind of split with its attention. Half of it is attacking the buildings, the other half is attacking Peanutphobia's army, so not the best micro there from Beno, and that is going to hurt him a little bit, but it looks like he's still going to be able to clean up this army decently well. In the meantime, 15 Hydralisks are being produced right now for Peanutphobia, so even though he saw that Colossus, he is not worried at all. And he's using up a lot of bank right there to pump out 15 Hydralisks. In the meantime, he pulls away Beno's army from his main here in order to give him time to get out all of these Hydralisks. So here we go. Hydra versus Stalker. Of course, there's nothing in front of these Hydralisks tank for them. But there's just enough Hydras right here and 5 more pumping out of that main that they should be able to clean up this army, I would imagine so. Yes, there we go. So a lot of Hydras do pump out, and they will be able to clean it up. They do get that boost of speed on the creep, but it looks like he's going to back off, actually. So Peanutphobia, happy that he is on 3 base right now. It is not saturated the best, though. I guess he's going to be on about 2 base here, as he has almost mined out of his main. But he could use a little bit better drone saturation. And our Protoss player is pretty also... actually, he's pretty well saturated considering he has mined out of his main right now, except for these 45 minerals. So, going to be 1 base versus 2 base about right now, and we'll have to see if Beno does look to expand. Yes, he does. There is the Nexus right there. Going to be put down pretty soon, and once again, look at this creep spread by Peanutphobia. So, you know, I like it when they bring it over the middle here just for that purple all over the way. But he has got that creep spread halfway across the map right now, so if his opponent engages here, I mean anywhere along those lines, it's going to be tough for him. But he does have an observer, so we'll have to see if he's able to pick off a lot of this creep, push it back. And scary armies right now for both players, kind of. There is that Colossus with these Stalkers. Is Blink being researched? Yes, it is. So Blink is almost done. But here we go. It looks like we are going to see some sort of engagement from Peanutphobia. He has a very fragile army, though. But here we go. He's going to get a surround on this Colossus. So a blunder there by our Protoss player. And his Colossus is not going to get many shots off at all. There is another Colossus over here. But once again, it is also going to get surrounded. The Stalker's doing a little bit of damage there. But it looks like the Hydra should be able to clean them up, as they do have the +2 armor +1 upgrade versus the 0/0, and there goes the Colossus, there goes the Stalker, and immediately Peanutphobia takes advantage of this game with that fight, able to snipe both Colossus while they are out of position right there, while the Hydras and Lynx just do a ton of damage to those Stalkers. So had there been those Colossus grouped together behind the army, it could have been a completely different fight there, but he's able to get that surround, get that kill on the Colossus. And huge win in that battle right there for Peanutphobia, though. In the meantime, we do see Beno has dropped his 3rd base, though, and it is completed. So we will have to see if there's going to be any sort of aggression here out of Peanutphobia, if he's going to bring some Lings in here from the side, something like that. As he should know, his opponent's army is very weak right now. The unit count, only 3 Zealots. That is all that he has right now. So he finally gets that +1 upgrade, so he can start fighting with those upgrades. And there's a little warp in of a couple Stalkers, and he does have a Colossus. But there is not much army at all, and Peanutphobia, please take advantage of this. So as a Zerg player, this is something that you will want to do. If you win a big fight like that, and you saw that his army was weak, and you know that's his mass army, because there is no way he's just sending out half an army like that. Please send some Lings, something like that, on a little run by around there, and pick off a 3rd. Even go for the natural if he hasn't taken his 3rd yet. You can kill some probes right in there, anything like that. So finally a 4th is going down for Peanutphobia, and we'll have to see if he does double expand behind this. Maybe take this gold to try and further his lead, as we do know he's ahead. But no Spires still, so even after seeing all of those Colossus, Peanutphobia has decided no Spire is needed. He does have this infestation pit, though, so we will have to see if he's going to tech up to Hive here anytime soon, or if he's just going to stick with this Hydra Ling and possibly get Infestors added to the group, which isn't a bad composition. But having that Hive tech, I mean, this is definitely late in the game. It is about time that you would really want to throw down a Hive or something like that, as you can get those Broodlords out, get that Broodlord Infestor army, which is just so difficult for a Protoss to deal with, until they can get out Mothership, Archon, and create that little Archon pool thingy, whatever it's called. In the meantime, though, Beno getting that Death Ball, able to build up again, and he does have a lot of sentries, so this will be able to force it out these Lings. These Lings are a few minutes too late here to try and do any sort of run by, so he's going to push in there and see there is nothing that he can do. So this Death Ball army looking very scary now, as it does build more Zealots, a lot of sentries, so able to force fit out those Lings. And there we go, Peanutphobia going to do some sort of run by, it looks like. Possibly, I hope he goes for the probe line, but it looks like he's not. It looks like he's just going to try and take out these gateways and pylons at the front. So a little bit of a mistake there, I'd say. Definitely want to send those Lings in here and just pick off probes. If you can cripple your opponent's economy, that is always worth it. So Infestors are out right now, and he did not get that Pathogen Glance upgrade. So once again, a little bit of a mistake, I would say, as you want to get that Pathogen Glance upgrade before you get those Infestors out. And when it has completed 30 seconds, I believe, you can start building infestors, and they will pop out with this extra starting energy. So it looks like he decided to opt against it, though, and instead is just going to have those infestors building energy in his army, and they do have enough for a fungal growth anyways. So cannot complain too much. In the meantime, he does see that his opponent's army is out here, so it looks like he once again is going to attack into this natural base, but he's attacking these buildings, and I just don't like the decision there. It'd be, if he can break down that pylon, though, he will be able to get into the main and possibly kill off those robo bays, as there are 2 robotics facilities and the robo bay right there. In the meantime, charge going down for our Protoss player, for those zealots in his army. So always good to see, especially when your opponent does have those Hydralisk in there like that. If you can charge up to those Hydralisk and kill them off before they can do all that DPS to you while you're running to them, or walking to them if you don't have those running legs. Able to do a little bit more damage there, and we do have 3-3 coming down, so the upgrades just 1-0 for our Protoss player as opposed to the 2-2, soon to be 3-3, and adrenal glands coming. But here we go. It looks like we are going to see Peanut try and engage against Beno. Beno is in a pretty nice little spot there, and great force fields, able to force field out most of that army. It looks like he's going to be able to trap a lot of those units right there and pick off about 1/4 of that army for free, only losing a couple of units in that. So nice force fields there, and Peanut needs to really choose his engagements better here. Possibly engage when his opponent is right over here or so he can get a nice little surround on him. We will have to see exactly what he does. But instead he lets Beno walk right in over here, start taking out this third. And here we go. We do see Peanut finally saying, I'm going to come in here and make some sort of push. But force fields once again going down, blocking out a lot of those units. So really good force fields. Beno eventually able to push in, though. He does have these infestors with like full energy. They're just getting destroyed, so cast some fungals or something like that. It doesn't matter, though, as those hydras and roaches were able to push in far enough right there to deal with Beno's army. So once again, Beno loses his entire army, and he is going to have to remax. He does have a couple Colossus, though, already built back home, as he does have that double Robo Bay, and it is pumping out 2 Colossus at once. But he is far behind in the upgrades, and that is definitely a huge deciding factor right now in all of these fights, is these 2-2 upgrades about to be 3-3 upgrades, plus Lings with adrenal glands and speed versus 1-0 upgrades on our Protoss units. It's just killing Beno right now. So Beno mining out? Not really. But his mineral's getting a little low here at his natural, so he's just on about 1.5 bases. In the meantime, our Zerg player on about 2.5 bases. As he does have that 4th up, and we'll have to see if he does take that 5th base anytime soon here. Harvester count definitely favoring our Zerg player. As Protoss player at 47 harvesters, that's just a little too low, and you will not be able to support remaxing your army in the effective time that you need. So hopefully you can get another base up of some sort over here, kill off some creep tumors, pick up another base, and pump some more probes out, because he is just going to be struggling to remax. But he does have a scary army out on the field right now, so this is something that you definitely want to watch for. And be careful as a Zerg, because if you engage into this army incorrectly, you will be in trouble. Despite having 3-3 upgrades, Colossus are still amazing units. They still have that 17 damage with 2 attacks for each thermal lance. So even when you're negating 3 damage of each of those, that's still 28 damage for every cross of the 2. Combine 4 of those, and you're killing Hydralisk off with 1 shot of 4 Colossus, or 1 double lance, I should say, of the 4 Colossus. So hopefully the upgrades are going to continue to pump out here for our Protoss army. He does have that forge, and after he got that +1, where's that forge? I'm not quite sure where it went. Is it in this wall? Yes, it is. So after he got that +1, it looks like he has forgotten to continue getting upgrades, or simply just been too low on gas, as he has invested a lot of money into his army right here. And 6 Colossus, that right there is a huge gas dump. So he has mined out of gas in his main as well. So hopefully these probes get over here and start mining over here. I do like that he has taken this 4th base. Did he lose his observer? It looks like he did. So without that observer, he's not able to clear off this creep, though. So this is going to be troublesome for him, as he will not be able to take a 5th base if he wishes right there. Meantime, Peanutphobia now does have that hive tech out. He does have corruptors on the way, and we will have to see if he's going to morph this into a Great Aspire anytime soon. I would imagine so, as soon as he gets 150 gas in the near future. Maybe. Maybe not. Alright, so he does have the Corruptors, though, so those will be able to deal with those Colossus, as there are 6 Colossus on the field, and no more in production at the current time, but yes, 6 Colossus, 23 Stalkers, 8 Zealots, 4 Sentries. So this can be a scary battle right here, and it looks like our Zerg player is going to be a little bit favored in it if he can get good positioning, because he does have all of those upgrades. But these Corruptors just kind of floating around out here, and they may get picked off with a big Blink. It looks like the Blink going to pick off the Overlord instead of any of the Corruptors, but I'm not quite sure where these Corruptors are going. They're just flying all around the map, and you do not want to be flying around Stalkers when they do have that Blink. And there we go, one Stalker, or one Corruptor is going to go down right there. Another one takes a decent amount of damage. And finally, Peanutphobia going to retreat back to his army. He is hovering around this gold, and he has not expanded again. So only sitting on these 4 bases. If I were Peanutphobia, I would be taking this 5th base right here and possibly trying to take my gold, as I am maxed out. And that's something I would want to do. And once again, throwing away these Corruptors. So another Corruptor thrown away, and Peanutphobia, I am not quite sure what you are doing, my friend. It looks like he's trying to... it looks like he's burning army supply, but he's rebuilding with Corrupt. I'm not sure. So possibly just getting some sort of scouting information, trying to figure out where his opponent's army is. And finally, Observer is out for our Protest player, so he's able to clean up a ton of that creep right there, all the way back to his natural 4th right there. And this army, once again, just sitting right here on this gold. This is not the best position for a Zerg player, because if your opponent does engage you right here, you just have this little ramp which he can easily force field. So hopefully he can get the Protest army over here to his right, but no, he's going to try and engage down this terrible choke. And look how many of his units are not able to attack. He's pushing in right into all of these Colossus, so the Colossus is doing so much damage right now. The Infestors over here are not able to get anything off, and it looks like the units are running all around trying to find some sort of concave. They do have those upgrades, so that is definitely helping them in this fight, but the Colossus are just going to be tearing apart these Hydras as they are still fragile, and it looks like the Protoss army is going to be able to take out this Zerg army right here. Zerg, of course, able to remax pretty quickly, but remaxing into a giant death ball is not exactly where we all remax. He's going to have to find a way to get his army grouped up at different positions and then re-attack into this. It looks like a lot of infested Terrans are thrown out onto the field, and they're going to be doing some damage. In the meantime, Hydralisk and Zerglings are coming out. But his rally point was set to a strange position, and here we go. He might be able to push this back, as he does have a lot of infested Terrans there, and Hydras and Lings are pouring out. So with those upgrades, there we go. A lot of Hydras getting a better concave right now, able to start doing more damage, picking off a lot of those Colossus. All but one Colossus has gone down, and Beno going to have to be forced back once again. So I would say upgrades right there was the decider in that battle. Beno able to win because of that great positioning, but once all those units were able to come out, Beno just so far behind in those upgrades, he just is not able to do enough damage to kill off this army fast enough. And if you can't kill off Hydras immediately, their DPS adds up. They have extremely high DPS, 15 damage right now, weapon speed 0.83, so that's better than Marines, I believe. Marines fully upgraded are 9 damage at like a 0.86 DPS. I guess if they have that stim, it's got to be pretty close. But Hydralisk, so much damage. Of course, they do cost a lot more than Marines. As they do cost, what, 100 minerals, 50 gas? Something like that. Yep, 100 minerals, 50 gas. So, once again, Peanutphobia is remassing these Hydras and these Infestors and getting some Corruptors out. He still is not teched into this Greater Spire, though. So I'm a little bit concerned for him right there. And Beno has got this 4th base up and running, so now he does have a decent economy. He's able to remax right here, and it looks like he's going to catch Peanutphobia's army out of position over here, standing at this top watchtower. So he's going to be able to get in here, snipe off this 4th, possibly snipe off that 5th, and there will be no mining bases left for Peanutphobia. If these 2 bases do go down, this base does go down, so yes. Or it doesn't go down, he doesn't finish it off. Please tell me he's going to finish that off. I'm not quite sure. So it looks like he's just going to push up right here and take out this 5th. But in the meantime, now he has to push down the ramp into this army. Possibly Peanutphobia deciding he actually wants to back up and not fight this quite yet. So he is going to be sacking his 4th base. And there is no income left for Peanutphobia. All of his units right there, or all of his drones, a lot of his drones going to get picked off, and he's just going to be returning, and they're just going to travel right back over here and just engage with this army, trying to get picked off. It looks like, so there you go, we do have what looks to be one of the final battles. Peanutphobia fighting to to save himself. The force fields do go down. Beautiful force fields, able to tramp all those units right there. We're going to have to see if the Colossus decide to pick away at them. No, they do not. Beno going to just decide to move back as he has done enough damage. He has killed off this fourth and this fifth base for Peanutphobia, and Peanutphobia now with no income, no minerals, is in a bit of a struggle, and he's going to have to do some serious damage right now if he wants to get back in this. He's going to have to kill off his opponent's fifth and stop this fourth from going down. And it looks like that's exactly what he is doing. He is pushing over to there, but does he have the ability to stay with Beno's army right now? Beno's army is just so scary. Even though he does not have the upgrades that he needs, he does have those +2 finishing right now, so it will be +2 attack to deal with these Hydras. And here we go. This is looking to be one of the final engagements. Peanutphobia fighting versus Beno. Beno has such a better concave. Some infested Terrans are thrown out there, but it doesn't look like Peanutphobia is going to be able to fight this back. And he is very low on supply there, and Beno's already able to kill off all of those Hydralisk. So Beno looking to possibly go for this killing blow right now as Peanutphobia is down. He does have his fourth base being rebuilt, and he needs this to rebuild if he wants any sort of income, as right now he's sitting at 80 minerals per minute, which is not going to be enough to even make one Hydra every minute. And 5 Colossus. A lot of Stalkers with that +2 attack upgrade now are pushing out across the map. Do we see? Yes, Greater Spire has gone down there for Peanutphobia, but without any income to make those Corruptors into Broodlords, or even make the Corruptors in the first place, he's going to be in trouble. So Beno looks like taking a little bit more time. He's not afraid to just retake his fourth here and possibly make sure that he does win the game. Always smart to just continue macroing up. Even if you feel you have the win, and I mean, yes, the supply lead, of course, is in Beno's favor right now, so he's going to be able to push into this Zerg's base and take him out. But, you know, sometimes you think you're a little bit further ahead than you are, and if you just go for that all-in push, and you can't quite beat it, and you lose that army, and you haven't macroed behind it, you will be in trouble. So Beno going to push in, and Peanutphobia hopefully not going to say any BM, but he's going to say, I just want to say that was one of the best games I have ever played. So, in terms of being close. And that was a great game. And yes, Peanutphobia, you were very close to having that game won. I mean, it just came down to losing that fourth and fifth. That was the thing. You know, Peanut was actually in the lead for a long time, but sticking on those Hydras, simply Hydra and stuff versus all of these Colossus and getting choked off right there, not the best engagement points. That's probably in the end what cost him the game right there. So GG, well played and nicely done by Beno to come back. He was down for a majority of this game, but pulling it out there in the end, getting those upgrades, getting that Mass Colossus, Stalker, and nice force fields to create chokes that he really found effective and was able to utilize in those battles. Well played, Beno. So MrLlama out.